What is going on, everybody? It's the Francis here for AEW on TNT review for May the 12th, 2021. This is your history-making episode of AEW on TNT because for the first time in New Japan Pro Wrestling history, the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship is on the line in a non-New Japan Pro Wrestling event. As Yuji Nagata comes to America, and for the first time in 23 years, as Tony Schiavone mentioned, comes to TNT since, I think it was like 1998. A long time. That's a long fucking time to be out. Now, also on the show, SCU puts their tag team career on the line as they challenged the Young Bucks for the tag team championships, and I have a little bit of a problem with the post of that match, which we will talk about here as well. And Miro gets his open contract and gets a chance to win the TNT Championship and be a champion for the first time in AEW. He has been talking about it for months. Will he become a champion? We'll have to talk about that when it happens, when we get there. So, and also Cody Rhodes gives us an announcement for what he's doing at Double or Nothing. And we'll get into that as well, because I think a lot of people are going to call it tone deaf and a bunch of other things. But yeah, we'll get to that when we do. So, we started off with the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship match as Yuji Nagata comes here with Ren Narita to take on Jon Moxley, who had Eddie Kingston in his corner. This was, by the way, Jon Moxley has Wild Thing as his theme now. I guess it was a tribute to Anita, which I hope it was just for this match, which that's fine. If it was just for this match, fine. Now, this was brutal, hard-hitting, as you expected. They did go with the NJPW rules for a title match, which means countouts on the outside are not 10 seconds, but 20. Rocky Romero was actually at ringside in the crowd, so that's awesome. I mean, if they could get him into a match for Dark Elevation just to do things, that would be fucking fantastic, because Rocky Romero is a heck of a wrestler. But they were beating the hell out of each other, throwing each other into barricades. Like, Jon Moxley got hit in the fucking face, got busted open. Just, you want to know where Daniel Bryan got the yes kicks from? I give you Yuji Nagata. This went 12 minutes. It was fantastic. I really wish it would have went 8 more minutes. Going to give us a 20-minute match, but Yuji Nagata is a little bit older. You don't want to give him you don't want him to be out there in a long-winded match. But yeah, Jon Moxley hits the Death Rider 1, 2, 3, and that's that. So Jon Moxley gets the win. After the match, he calls Narita to continue to check on Nagata. He raises the title with Kingston by his side. He puts the title down and bows to Nagata. Then gets down on the mat and they both bow. Nagata returns the favor. They bump heads and get up together. Moxley raises Nagata's arm as the crowd cheers on both wrestlers. So, good way to open the show. Again, if Nagata was 10 or 15 years younger, this match would have went at least 20 to 25 minutes long. But with it being the opening match and him being, which apparently Yuji Nagata wants to wrestle till he's 74 or something. And I'm like, if you want to know how to wrestle and have longevity in the wrestling business, talk to Terry Funk. That motherfucker is like 74, 75, and has still been wrestling off and on. Backstage, we have Hager, Ortiz, and Guevara talking to Alex Marvez. Ortiz says Santana got arrested and detained because he used a fork in the match. He says the Inner Circle had the match won, but a strange twist of fate and at the end got the Pinnacle to win. Guevara and Hager won a rematch. Guevara says give them a match or they will put the Pinnacle in the grave, and this will not be the coronation tonight, but the funeral. And that is that. So we will hear from, they will definitely come into play later in the night. And then Cody comes out. I hear a lot of people complaining still about Cody Rhodes using the Snoop Dogg theme. I wish he would go back to his other theme, just the normal theme. I know they had that Go Big show, but yeah, enough of the Snoop Dogg theme, dude. It's past its time in AEW. So Cody comes out. Rhodes says it's fair to poke fun at things like the election, what they did during the anthem, and a bunch of other things. He goes completely political here, which I think was really fucking stupid. He says he's always proud to be an American, and he mentions how Anthony Ogogo has run this country down since jump. Has talked shit about it, has really not had anything nice to say about the American way of life. Even though he has a green card, courtesy of the USA, makes money here, courtesy of the U.S. Treasury, and goes on this big spiel. He talks about America before bringing back the wanting to face Anthony Ogogo at Double or Nothing. Rhodes says Ogogo will not be wrestling the American Nightmare. No. For one night, we actually have this clip piece here. So this is what Cody said who he will be facing.
So for one night, Justin Roberts, this relates to you. Nothing on presentation's sake will be different. It comes from deep inside. As I said, at Double or Nothing, it will be Anthony Ogogo versus the American Dream, Cody Rhodes.
Now, yeah, they got a big crowd reaction. Nice crowd here. Of course, Double or Nothing is going to be at full capacity. Well, close to, if they can get that many people there. But I don't know what to think about him going out there for one night being called the American Dream, Cody Rhodes. I mean, it's fine. I mean, he is Dusty's son. He can do whatever they want him to do. But, yeah, not anything else I can say about that. So Cody was Anthony Ogogo. Of course, a lot of people were expecting Anthony Ogogo to take the pinfall here. I do too, because it's Cody Rhodes. But it's like, you had this match. All you're going to do is come out here and announce that I'm taking on Anthony Ogogo at the pay-per-view. We did not need to have this whole spiel about being a proud American, because a lot of people right now, for reasons that I'm not going to get into, are not proud to be an American, for one reason or another. Not going to get into that, but yeah. Anthony Ogogo takes on Austin Gunn next week, before that match. SCU take on the Young Bucks. If SCU loses, they are disbanded as a tag team. And here's the thing. They even mentioned this. This is not a stipulation. This is not something this isn't like Cody can never challenge for the World Championship again after losing to Chris Jericho thanks to MJF. No. This was a self-imposed thing. So 6, 9, 10 months, maybe a year from now, they want to put SCU back together. They can, because it wasn't a stipulation. It was just something that they said to themselves that they were going to do. Now, my biggest gripe about this is that this match with the stipulation should be it should have been a title match at the pay-per-view. I don't care what happens, who's going up against the Young Bucks at Double or Nothing. This should have been your match at Double or Nothing for the pay-per-view. It should have been, that's what it should have been. I'm sorry. I'm so pissed that they decided they were going to do that. But no, this should have been, yeah, that's what that should have been. This should have been that match. So, we have this match, and somewhere midway through, Daniels is on the outside. He's got his head leaning against the ring post. Who the hell is it? It's like, one of the Young Bucks goes out and super kicks him. I still, for whatever reason, can't tell the difference between who is who. I get them mixed up all the time, so I'm not trying to mix up who it is. But he gets kicked, head into the thing, he falls over, and he is bleeding. He is just busted wide the fuck open. And I'm like, obvious blade job, because he's sitting there, fucking with the blade, trying to blade himself, so when the kick happens, it looks like he got busted by the post. But, I'm sorry, there ain't no ring post that you're going to hit as softly as he did, that's going to make you bleed that badly. So, yeah, SCU put up a huge fight here. Looked like they should have won. Referee distracted. Matt sprays Daniels with some cold spray. Pops Daniels in the head in the can. Goes for the cover, but he kicks out. Matt and Nick with the PT trigger hit it. Kazarian tries running in from the stage, but can't make it. 1, 2, 3. And that was that. So, Then you figured, well, this was a big deal on Dark Elevation, a couple times on the TV. You figured you get like 2 minutes, they get to sit around and you get to see what's going to happen with these guys, the hug, and they go their separate ways. We didn't get any of that. We had JR and them like, we have this word backstage, we have a cameraman trying to find this commotion going on backstage, and we cut to Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley in the Elite's dressing room, destroying the place. So, the fact that you made this such a big deal, Kaz and Daniels made this a big deal, and I'm sure the live crowd got to have this big goodbye for them, but us at home, we didn't. I think it was, they should have did better. They should have given these guys a few minutes. The Moxley and Eddie Kingston thing, we went right to commercial break right after the Moxley and Kingston thing happened. What you could have done was allowed these two to have their moment with all of AEW's fans. Tony Khan, shame on you for not doing that right. And then, when we come back, hey, during the commercial break, we got video, like this video happening backstage, and we see Moxley and them destroying everything. There was also a really cool, interesting part in this match. Daniels is, of course, bleeding. He's down on his knees. One of the Young Bucks is in the corner. He looks up and he's like, "I'm sorry. I love you," and does the kick, but he doesn't get the win that way. So, little making fun of the Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair match. Excuse me. So, yeah. We didn't get any of that. Like, we didn't get... And then we come back to commercial break, and it's like, oh, look what happened during the commercial break. These guys saying their goodbyes, and it was half of what happened. So, if you were watching on Fight TV, you got more than we did. If you were there, you got way more than we did. Not even fair. And then we go backstage with Dasha, who has Christian with her.
Christian Cage, it's no secret. You've had your issues with Taz.
Yeah, that's a bit of an understatement, Dash. And last week it was technique by Taz, where Taz critiqued my wrestling ability. And that has about as much credibility as me critiquing Taz's ability at a buffet table. Look, Taz, nobody's denying at one point in time you were a bad man. But right now you're not going to step through those ropes. You're not going to back up the things that you say I am. So it's like this. Tony Khan has given me an open contract, and next week I'll be standing right there in the middle of the ring. You go ahead and you send any member of Team Taz that you want, and I'll be standing right there waiting. But what I really want to talk about, Dasha, is Double or Nothing, more specifically the Casino Battle Royal. And did you know the winner of the Casino Battle Royal gets a title match whenever they want? So I'm throwing my hat in there. I'm going all in. I'm pushing all my chips on the table.
That's not how the last two Battle Royals have worked. The first Casino Battle Royal was to see who would go to All Out to face Chris Jericho. And, of course, that was Hangman Adam Page who won that. And then last year, the winner went to one of their special pay-per-views type shows and won it. It's not whenever you want. When did that stipulation get added?
Asha, not only am I going to be in the Casino Battle Royal, I'm going to win the Casino Battle Royal. And when I win the Casino Battle Royal...
You're going to win the Casino Battle Royal? Don't get too far ahead of yourself. Because I'm in that match, too, and I have my mind on redemption.
Good to see him, man. Yeah, last year didn't go so well for you, huh? You think things are just going to fall into place?
Oh, hilarious, man, hilarious. Hey, I have a surprise for you. Not a Hall of Fame-worthy surprise, but you can forget about Team Taz. Because I signed that open contract for the match next week on Dynamite. So before I win the Casino Battle Royal, I'm going to beat you in the Outwork Everybody Hype Train and Dynamite.
So, next week we have Matt Sydal versus Christian Cage. That ain't a bad match. I think that'll be interesting. Good on them. And then, of course, yeah, we have the Casino Battle Royal. And so far, Christian Cage and Matt Sydal are all we know. I'm sure we'll have more names. And, of course, a couple that will be left for the pay-per-view. I'm sure Nick Camarato might be in there. Maybe even Aaron Solo. I guess maybe Pentagon and Phoenix. Why wouldn't you put those two in there? Yeah. That's my guesses right there. Maybe we get MJF gets put in there. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. No, that's right. We'll talk about that match here in a bit. What they're going to be doing. Then we go to our number one contenders match. Orange Cassidy versus Pac. The winner goes to Double or Nothing. Or do they? Hint, hint. So, the match starts, and Orange Cassidy takes his shades off and puts them on Pac. Pac picks them off and just destroys them. So you have a match similar to what they did at Revolution last year. So they're having the match, and there was this nasty, and I mean nasty, Liger bomb that Cassidy took from Pac, and he looked like he was out of it. So Pac's, fucking around with him until the doctor starts checking on him. Don Callis comes out and is like, hey, Matt, hey, Pac, just hurry this thing up. We need a winner. We need to know who we're going to be facing, who we're going to be going up against at Double or Nothing. Then the referee's distracted by Don Callis. Pac gets hit from behind with the title by Kenny Omega. Referee counts, and we have ourselves a double count out in the ring, which the last time we had one of those was on Dark. Except it was double count out on the outside. This was a no contest because both guys got counted down. So, I mean, it's fine that AEW doesn't go with the DQ or the count outs or double count outs that often as WWE does, and you only get them once in a while, but it's like they need to do them more often. Like, I can complain about that for hours on end, but I'm not going to. Callis says since they don't have any winners, that means Omega has the night off. Omega says they need to rev up the Harleys and they need to go on a road trip. Omega calls Pac and Cassidy a bunch of losers, and neither of them deserve a shot. Tony Schiavone inconspicuously just decides he's going to start walking over to Don Callis and Kenny Omega. And basically tells them that for the first time, I believe, in AEW history, there will be a triple threat match, a three-way dance. Orange Cassidy versus Pac versus Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship. Young Bucks and which that's good. That is really interesting to see what we're going to have next for AEW. I don't think they've had a triple threat match in AEW yet. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure, especially a title match, I don't think we've had a triple threat match for a title yet. So yeah, that's going to be fun to see what happens there. Then we move on to the Young Bucks who are in the Good Brothers see the dressing room destroyed. Doc says he knows it was Moxley and Kingston. Matt says this is fine because tonight they finished off Daniels and Kazarian. Matt says next week they don't. Why don't they finish off the next top contenders, Varsity Blondes? Mox Brian Pillman Jr. wanted to be like his dad in wrestling. Matt continues and says, hey, Mox, Kingston, what are you doing for Double or Nothing? So the Varsity Blondes get a tag team match next week. That's cool. And then they didn't say it was a title match, but we're having Moxley and Kingston versus the Young Bucks at the pay-per-view. If it is a title match, then that's going to be probably a hell of a match. And I could totally see Mox and Kingston win the World Tag Team titles away from the Young Bucks. All I know is this Bullet Club Elite reunion, it's got to end. Unless Gallows or Anderson are going to sign with AEW, they need to go back to Impact. This entire invasion angle, it doesn't work for either side. It doesn't benefit either side. We've only seen Gallows and Anderson and Don Callis, whereas Matt Hardy, Private Party have gone over there. Private Party had a tag team title opportunity before for the Impact Championships. Like, if you're going to do an invasion angle, why aren't we seeing a Rich Swann or a Moose coming over here? Why is it just Kenny Omega now, after the whole Private Party thing was done? Why is it only Kenny Omega going there with Don Callis and the Good Brothers and Don Callis coming here? It's not necessary. I'd rather see the stuff we had with Yuji Nagata and Jon Moxley and stuff like that. Get me Rocky Romero over here a couple matches. Doesn't have to be against Jon Moxley. Get me Rocky Romero on Dark and Dark Elevation, winning some matches and having some good stuff. Backstage, Hangman Adam Page talks with the boss, Brian Cage, and he drops the rankings. Says it was bound to happen to a lot lose a match, but it took three guys, a big powerbomb, and a title shot. Page says he thinks it wasn't so much as Cage beat me, it was more like Taz won. He doesn't think Cage. I don't think a guy like Cage would be actually happy with that win like that. and actually earn his spot, he says, why don't we have a rematch? You leave Taz and Starks, God bless him, because news coming out of the match that Hangman Adam Page had with Ricky Starks is, if you remember that German suplex that Ricky Starks landed on his head, and he looked fine at the time, actually, he fractured his neck. So, Ricky Starks is going to be out of commission as a wrestler for the next 3 months, which means anything they were doing, because they've been teasing for weeks up until the injury, of a split between Team Taz and Brian Cage, or Team Taz and Ricky Starks. They have to throw that all gets thrown out the window now because of the injury. So I don't know what they're going to be doing. But he says, for you, Cage, it's double or nothing. John Silver's like, that's the name of the pay-per-view. Did you do that on purpose? That was really smart. Oh, good grief. I really hope they have this in like multiple parts, because the Pinnacle are out here, and it's the Pinnacle's time to shine. And no, they do not, unfortunately. I wish I could get the full promo, because Pinnacle come out, and of course, earlier in the show, as you know, they, Inner Circle, what was left of them, they wants a title match. They want another title. They want not a title match, but another match. They want a rematch. Of course, MJF comes out and he's like, do you guys want to see a rematch, huh? And you hear, rematch, 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 rematch. And he's like, my answer is no. By the way, he's in a pink suit wearing a crown. Just mentioning that. Tully Blanchard gets the mic and says that these guys, he's been at the top with previous talent before, and he's here again. And he has a present for these guys, which is a very expensive watch, apparently, even though they're probably from Chinatown, which, mind you, don't buy anything from Chinatown that you actually want to keep, because majority of the time, it's going to break real easily. I bought a pair of sunglasses in New York in 2008, and they broke real easily. That's neither here nor there. So, they're celebrating and everything, and here comes Santana Ortiz, Hager, and Sammy Guevara with a cart that has a trailer behind it, well, a makeshift trailer behind it, and a hose connected to the top of it. Here's my one problem with this, because Chris Jericho shows up. Chris Jericho, of course, arm injury, has his arm in a cast. Good for him. He couldn't stay away for a week. Like, you didn't have to have Chris Jericho for this segment. You didn't. But, so, MJF says no again to the match, because Chris Jericho says, are you going to give us a match? And he's like, I say again, no. So, they spray them with bubbly, which a lot of people, I see a lot of haters online, like, oh, why is, like, remember when AEW was an alternative instead of copying things WWE's done in the past? Guys, listen. This is wrestling. You don't have much different that you can do. Everything, like, they can do anything out of the ordinary that's their own thing. And people were like, oh, they're copying this or they're copying that. That's just how it goes. People need to calm the fuck down. So what? They did a spraying gimmick. I'm pretty sure I think Impact Wrestling did one of those, didn't they? So, yeah. So what if they did a classic Attitude Era moment? But what about the Attitude Era? I want to be the Attitude Era. I want the Attitude Era. That's all I hear, is that people want us to go back to the Attitude Era. Well, AEW gave you an Attitude Era type moment, so fucking what? It was funny. It was funny. It was funny. And I just think it was something that was pretty cool. And it's like, oh, well, AEW stole it from WWE because they're not original. We're in 2021. There is literally nothing in the wrestling business that is original anymore. Plain and simple. Hell, Cody Rhodes getting his ass kicked by Brody Lee was not an original concept. Cody Rhodes got that from a previous match. Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley in the barbed wire death match, even though the death match didn't go off the way it was supposed to, was harken back to the original barbed wire death match. Only again, there was an explosion then compared to what we got. But it's like nothing is new. Nothing. I mean, yeah, Stadium Stampede. I'm sure there have been stadium brawls before. Hell, like Blood and Guts. That's just war games. Why didn't like people complain about that too? Everything is like everything that you see in AEW in wrestling is not new. Hell, WWE didn't just do the beer bath; they did the fucking milk bath too. You got a problem with it? So fucking what? It wasn't beer. It was champagne, and it wasn't a fucking beer hose. It was a fucking garden hose. Why are people complaining about this shit? It happens. Again, Jericho could have missed this week. Jericho could come back in 2 weeks or so. Let his arms thing. It's like, come on, people. Calm the fuck down. So we got ourselves a bubbly splash. And that was that. So MJF's like, stop it, enough, shut up. You know what? You want a match? You got it. We're going to challenge you to the match you lost last year. Stadium Stampede. Yes, Stadium Stampede is coming back. Now, Stadium Stampede. This time, though, if the Inner Circle loses, they have to break up forever. There will be no more Inner Circle if the Inner Circle if the Pinnacle has their way. And what else can you say about that? That's good shit right there. That's what they do. So yeah, AEW could we be seeing the breakup of one of the best factions in AEW? Honestly, I wouldn't mind it, but we have ways and ways to go before we get to that. We get 2 minutes of Britt Baker just talking nonsense. I don't give a shit. And then we have the number 2 ranked woman, Thunder Rosa, taking on Jasmine Allure. Lasts about 2 minutes. That is that. Speaking of women's champions, though, Serena Deeb makes her return next week, defending the NWA Women's World Championship against Red Velvet. She already has a challenger. I know that they had the NWA Women's Champion. Why is Camille not getting her title shot? Unless it's already happened, which I doubt it. Well, why isn't Camille getting her title shot first? That match should be happening before you get to Red Velvet. Why does Red Velvet get an NWA World title shot? I don't know. Young Bucks take on the Varsity Blondes. Christian Cage versus Matt Sydal. Anthony Ogogo will take on Austin Gunn and Hangman Adam Page. Oh yeah, and then they made Hangman Adam Page versus Brian Cage official for Double or Nothing. This is your card for Double or Nothing at this time. We have 7 matches. We don't need... the tag team match is all we need. We don't need any more. After we get the World Tag Team title match, whatever that's going to be. Kenny Omega versus Orange Cassidy versus Pac. Hikaru Shida versus Dr. Britt Faker, DMV. Cody Rhodes versus Anthony Ogogo. Christian Cage versus Matt Sydal versus To Be Announced versus Being Announced. Christina Battle Royal. The Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle in a Stadium Stampede. If the Inner Circle loses, they must disband. And Hangman Adam Page versus Brian Cage. Not yet for the FTW title, but we could find between now and then, it could be for the FTW title. All Hangman Adam Page has to do is goad him into wanting to defend that title, and boom, we have ourselves a title match. That did not happen yet. Of course, we didn't hear Brian Cage accepting the challenge. They just made the match official. So, Tony Schiavone with Jade Cargill. More bullshit. Don't really impress me. Then we see Darby Allin saying he didn't have time to think about Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky's attack last week. He ends up going to Seattle, his hometown. Going back to his old skate park he went to. He enjoys going back to see where he came from. Says Miro came here and talked about breaking glass ceilings. But what has he really done since he's got here? He continues that he doesn't buy what Miro is selling. He continues that he knows who he is. But does Miro know who he is? Miro can say whatever he wants about Allin, but he will always have to admit Allin is one of the toughest men he has ever stepped in the ring with. And then we go to our main event. Sting is out there with Darby Allin to take on Miro for the TNT Championship. Before the match even gets started, Miro just jumps this guy like a shark in the water. Like, he is on him like sharks, like a shark looking for his prey. He's beating him up. The referee's trying to get him back to check to see if the match can start. Miro beats him up some more, throws him out of the ring, throws him over the barrier, just keeps beating the fuck out of him. And then the bell finally rings. Miro beats him up some more. And then Darby Allin gets some just... My biggest problem with this is that Darby Allin got way too much offense in. Miro should have came out, did what he did before the match, bell rings, Miro beats the hell out of him some more, puts him in the fucking game over, match over. But no, they had to, give him some offense, I guess. But during the one of the commercial breaks, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page attack Sting. They attack Sting. So after the match with Darby Allin down and Miro being your new TNT champion as he locks on the game over to get the win, Sky and Page again attack Sting. But the Dark Order come out to chase them off. Lance Archer comes out on stage. He's yelling at Miro. Miro is holding the title up as if he has the biggest prize he is ever going to get. And it looks like that's going to be his first feud, which is fine. Would be great to see where they go from here. But yeah, Miro is your TNT champion. I'm sure TNT is going to have to change their heading now. Oh shit, I did that wrong. Let me go. Did they change it yet? Did TNT Drama change it yet? Yep, Miro is our champion. They definitely put it up there now. Yep. So now we have ourselves a new champion. Miro finally gets to be a champion in AEW. He's still undefeated. My question is, how long will he keep it? How well will he be booked? Just because he won the championship doesn't mean a goddamn thing. Period. Doesn't mean a thing. How well they book him as champion. How dominant is he in his matches. Him versus Lance Archer should be saved for All Out if they can get there. I doubt it, though. I doubt it. Why is Lance Archer not wrestling regular matches? Why is he just out there getting, just doing spots like that? I mean, yes, he's wrestled on Dark Elevation here and there, but come on, man. Give me some Lance Archer matches for crying out loud. But yeah, AEW, really good show. I do feel like they should have been more respectful to the breakup of SCU. They treated it as if it wasn't that big of a deal. And to a lot of wrestling fans, it was a big fucking deal. So, yeah, they need to rethink that next time. But that is your AEW on TNT review. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds at the France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/thefranceclub. Find me on Instagram at the France Club. And I will see you guys on Friday for the go-home show to Backlash for SmackDown, as well as the WrestleMania Backlash predictions. Until then, my name is the France, and I'll see you guys later.